Good morning. My name is Ram Mohammed, and I'm going to demonstrate how you can use Issulog to help in your data migration. What we have here is a data migration issue task. This is in a series of issue tasks which come from the main milestone of the project implementation. As you see, the task envelope shows the task description. It has got dependent tasks in it. It has some guide documentation which I will go through. It has people assigned to it, a team, and the basic description of what the task will look like. And as mentioned previously, each issue task has some checklists. So having to organize the participants who will be involved in that data migration workshop, setting up a data migration environment, copying and configuring a goal environment on the side, and being able to proceed with the data. And as we saw also before, Issulog has a resource defined that can be edited to give us some indication of the cost later on in the project. So let me just give you a quick idea of the document. These documents guide you through the task, and the subtasks, the dependent tasks, go in further detail. These are the two parts I will focus on in this discussion. So let's look at the data migration strategy document. This is, as the name suggests, is a data migration template for the strategy, and the strategy will set all the definitions of the particular phase of the project. I will not go into detail itself, but this is a very comprehensive document which, as we see now, has more than 70 pages, more than 60 pages. It will tell you about the migration planning. As it is a template, you can download this document and use it for your own business. So it will explain the planning and what your objective should be, who will be involved, what activities are involved. You can assign people in this document, but bear in mind this is just a document. You use Issulog itself to guide you through the phase of the project. So if I scroll through the document further, it will tell you about the data migration approach and how you map, extract, and transform, and eventually use data migration framework, which is part of the D365 toolset, to import the data in your system. So everything, including the entity involved, is covered in this document. So let me go back to the task itself. There is also a planning document, which is a summary of this document. This will give you an overview of the who, what, where, when, and how it is doing. So for each phase, all the way to data go live, it is included in here. So from the foundation sourcing your data, extracting it, analyzing it, cleansing it, all will be there for you. So what Issulog is doing now is not a typical Microsoft consulting job. It is actually sitting on your side as a customer to see how you get information to enhance your business. So briefly again, let's go back to this issue task. There are dependent tasks I mentioned, and one for the supply chain migration and one for the finance data migration. In this particular one, for example, you will have the mapping, extracting, transforming, and loading phase. And then you can break this into specific entities that you will use it for. Because it is supply chain, the sponsor is the operations director, and I believe the logistics manager then is assigned the task from the operations director. And you look at the checklist involved in here, and I can click in more detail to view it. Let me click on the detail of this. You will see the detailed checklist, which is in line with the communication that's taking place. So to define the entities, the document that have been defined should be attached here as a clear task. So selecting the entities in scope, etc. But on top of that, what this Issulog task does, it provides you with a tool to allow you to understand what you are doing. And I use this tool quite a bit. You can download it, and as you see, it is showing you every data entity that you should consider as you migrate to the system. Some of them, it tells you what type of data it is. We start at the beginning, setting up Azure, the system setup. It should be manual for the environment that you are in. It walks you through every step, even though you don't have any knowledge of what's ahead of you. I will quickly scroll, but I don't like the screen flickering. And all the sales, supply chain, and other part are included in the document. This document should be laid in a central folder and the link basically via the specific issue log. So I will just scroll through and I will go back to the beginning of the document. There are thousands of lines that are involved in this setup, and you don't have to go through all of them, but you can if you wish. So let me go through the fields. Take the currency one, for example. It would tell you it is to set up the currencies, and it is a configuration data. If you were to set it manually, it also guides you so you can see the data. And effectively, when you go live, the aim is to go to the goal environment. It tells you the entity technically for the developer to know, and Microsoft provides data packages as part of the support for the data migration. It also tells you in which data package this data entity will be set. So if I scroll along, you give you all information you need about this entity, and then you have at the top here an indication of what happens through mapping, extraction, transformation, and loading. You can then manage this document for your own implementation. It has also other tabs. I mentioned it tells you entities by entities. All entities that you would want to use in Microsoft has been downloaded in here. They give you an indication of what they are and what they mean. And then for every entity, every field that are used in it are captured, and you have an English explanation of what they will mean so that you know what the significance of each of the field of the entities are. So if I scroll up to the top currency I was just talking about, it will have the name of the fields, but it will also have meaning of what each of the field represent. And finally, it shows you example data for each of the entities that you are looking at. So typically we're looking at currency, so let us focus on that, and I will just pick the currency one for the sake of this demonstration, and let's see if it gives me. It has given me explanation of the field. Now I would like to know some sample data, and as you see, for each of the fields that are listed in the entity field node and in the config and migration tab, it gives me indication of what kind of data that can be entered. I found this very helpful, and I hope you actually find this helpful too. Now, just coming back to the issue task, having looked at the migration tool, let's review. This is the mapping phase, and you will be able to go through each of the individual phase of the data migration, the mapping, extraction, and there should be a transformation and the loading phase with your users. And these can be used as communication channels to specifically focus on specific data of the process.